And I would like to let the members of the audience know we do have a time limit of 5 minutes. You will see that on the little buttons in front of the podium here, but also you'll see it up here on this wall. So I would like to ask you to limit it to 5 minutes. And it's just by raising your hand. So I'll call on you. Yes, ma'am, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Janet Russell. I thought I'd give you, since none of you were present in the last 30 years here, I'll give you a little precedent on what has been decided for places of worship in this city. Approximately 25 years ago, maybe more or less, the Roswell Presbyterian Church, ground zero in the historic district, built a new sanctuary. Their steeple exceeded the maximum height of a building in the city. They were given permission because they were a church. Second, the Roswell United Methodist Church, as we all know, RUMC on Mimosa in the heart of the historic district, wanted to expand, and they bought 2 little tiny historic homes next to it. You can't get more historic and residential than that. People objected. A couple was ready to file a lawsuit in the morning. The council approved it that night, and by 7:30 the next morning, before the couple could go down and file a lawsuit, the church bulldozed those houses down, so there was no recourse. Number 3, that was a Methodist church. We're the equal opportunity people here. St. Andrew's Catholic Church, built on Riverside Drive, was built in a floodplain. As we know from last year's floods, their basement flooded, but they were given permission because they were a church. As Mr. Palermo or Mr. Judy, I forget who just said this, about the Fellowship Christian School, there was a room here full of 500 neighbors, because that's a really neighborhood area. And it went on until all hours of the night because no one wanted that school there because of the lights for the football field and the sound from the football field. And they assured us at the time that they would only have 5 or 6 football games, but as it turns out, they rented their fields to other leagues to use them. But they were given permission also because they were a church. I think it's important to realize the historic precedents that have been set by this city to allow churches to build in historic and residential areas. Now, for those who are worried about a mosque being intrusive, I happen to be driving down Rucker Road where it merges into Old Milton Parkway going toward Alpharetta, and there is a mosque right there on the right-hand side as you go east. If you've never noticed it, I rest my case. It's unobtrusive, and you can't get more residential and expensive houses than Old Milton Parkway. So I think you need to keep all of those things in mind since none of you were here, but I was, and as you know, I have a very good memory.
Yes, ma'am, please come forward.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Mary Stevens. I live in Roswell, and I've lived in Roswell since 1996. So a proud member of, a residential member of Roswell. I'm also a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church on Crabapple Road at 11420, so they would be 11370, so we would be next door neighbors. And we have been neighbors for a while, so the good folks at RCM have partnered with our church for years to support the homeless community in North Fulton, the Family Promise. So we have worked together for years. Shaheen, who's right back there, has been my partner for years. We've worked together to help house the homeless, feed the homeless, and help those people who are experiencing episodic homeless in North Fulton. These folks are good neighbors, and when I heard they were buying the property next door to us, I was so grateful to have that because our children will play with their children. We will have community picnics. It will be awesome. We can't ask for better neighbors on Crabapple Road than the RCM. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Judy Brown. I lived on this property for 25 years. My mom bought it 50 years ago, and it is a beautiful piece of property if you've never walked it. And I just wanted to say that, I live at 950 Wordsworth. I still live in Roswell. And, but my mom, we had to put her in assisted living. She's 95 years old. She's just up the street on Crabapple. And about 8 years ago, Lebanon Baptist Church came to us, wanting to know if, when we sold it, that we would talk with them. And so for so long, our family thought, oh, that's great. The church is going to take this property, buy it, and it'll be just perfect, as we felt. That didn't work out, so we tried to sell it ourselves because we had to put our mother in the assisted living, and that didn't work out. The people that came to us that wanted to do the residential, it was either too many, houses or whatever. So we listed it with a real estate agent, and they brought the Roswell Community Mosque to us, and we were so excited because they told us our plans, how natural they keep the property, and how they pass it on from generation to generation. So I am for it, and I am very pleased that they are going to, hopefully work something out with the city. And I just wanted to come tonight and present that, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak? Yes. Well, there are a bunch of you in one spot, so whoever gets up first, please come forward.
Mayor, Council. My name is Gus Gardner, and I live in Pine Valley. I've gotten to know the folks at the Roswell Masjid because they're in my neighborhood. And one thing that I've experienced there is an open door. They are not the only house of worship in my neighborhood, but they're the only one, to my knowledge, that have really been an open door to the community. I've been to several events there, potlucks, city council debates, Earth Day services. So, what I can say as a neighbor, I'll hate to see them leave my neighborhood because they have been an asset. I understand neighbors' concerns. I think they are right to raise concerns that will impact neighborhoods. But I don't think you could find a better neighbor, and I look forward to continuing a relationship based on my experience with folks at the Masjid. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to point out, because our city clerk is going to have my hide if I don't, if each one of you that are speaking tonight fill out a comment card, if you don't do it beforehand, please do it after the fact, and you'll leave in the good graces of Marley Press. So I know that there were some other folks when I pointed back there, so whoever would like to come forward next, please come forward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Harlan Grazer. I am an ex-president of Temple Beth Tikva, a synagogue located in Roswell on Coleman Road. I'm actually here substituting for our rabbi who was supposed to be here but who was called away at the last minute. So what I'd like to do, if I may, is read an email which she actually shared with all of you, which may not have gotten around, but I will read it. I'll read it to you as well as to my community neighbors. Dear Mayor Henry and members of the Roswell City Council, and this is from Rabbi Alexandria Shuval Weiner, Senior Rabbi of Temple Beth Tikva. Dear Mayor and Council, unfortunately, I am unable to attend the rescheduled hearing concerning the RCM request. Please accept my note in favor of RCM's rezoning request. As a member of Roswell's faith community and senior rabbi of Temple Beth Tikva, I am in support of our friends and neighbors at RCM in their request for rezoning the property at 11370 Crabapple for a new home for the Roswell Community Masjid. The RCM community is dedicated to fostering peace, tolerance, and mutual understanding with her neighbors. Our Temple Beth Tikva community has enjoyed multiple opportunities to break bread, talk, study, and engage in communal interfaith projects, justice work, and shared worship experiences. In October 2018, when a gunman entered and murdered multiple people at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, members of our TBT community found themselves traumatized by the horrific event, and many were frightened to come to the synagogue. Within hours of the news of the shooting, the leadership of RCM reached out with calls of support and words of comfort. More importantly, Imam Arshad and other leaders of the Masjid came to our building to offer their physical and moral support. As frightened congregational members arrived for prayer for the first time after the incident, they were greeted by their rabbi standing shoulder to shoulder with RCM friends offering smiles and words of comfort. I am personally grateful for the presence of RCM in our Roswell community. RCM is a loving congregation which brings much blessing to our greater Roswell community, and I am confident that they will be a wonderful addition to the existing neighbors, schools, and houses of worship on Crabapple. Respectfully submitted, Alexandria Shuval Weiner, Senior Rabbi of Temple Beth Tikva in Roswell. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And who would like to come forward? Yes, please come forward. Yes.
Hi, my name is Nirjan Abdullah, and I live at 1080 Etris Manor Drive. And I've lived in Roswell for 10 years, and normally I have to drive past the property in order to get to the current RCM. And when I went home and I told my son, he's 6 years old, that RCM possibly may be moving right there, the first thing he said was, "Yes, I get to ride my bike to the Masjid." And he was so happy about, it being so close. And I know that RCM's guiding principles are serving God, serving the congregation, and serving the community. And I'm here to attest that they have done that consistently since I joined the community. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm very involved in everything Roswell. I have coached the youth soccer through the rec center multiple times. I'm coaching it now. I've coached basketball. I'm also the co-leader of the Girl Scout troop 16581, and RCM has consistently provided a place for our troop to meet. They've given our troop opportunities to participate in different things such as the tree planting, cleaning up the Chattahoochee River. I mean, I could literally make a list of all the, you've heard it, of all the wonderful things that they provide. And I would like to tell also the neighbors who are concerned, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that RCM as a whole, they are very open. We listen at RCM. If there are concerns, they're gonna listen to you. I have never seen RCM do anything that is like, oh my, like controversial, And I think that the concerns about the uphold, how it's gonna look, we will listen. I know they will, I know. And I think it's important to know that it's going to be a good thing. It's not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be good. We can work around with the traffic. I'm pretty sure everybody on the board, on the planning committee, is going to do everything possible to make sure everybody is happy, because it's in their principles, serving God, serving the congregation and serving the community. And I believe that that could happen. I'm in complete support, and I'm really hoping you guys pass it so me and my children can ride our bikes to the Masjid. Thank you.
Are there additional people that would like to come forward? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Reverend Ryan Young. I am a pastor at Northbrook United Methodist Church right across the street. I am here in support of RCM. We have worked with them in a number of different areas supporting the community, whether it be North Fulton Community Charities or Family Promise. I have known Bassem and Imam Arshad for a while and know them to be very honest and wonderful people. And so I am in support of this rezoning. As a community member right there on Crabapple Road, I will say I understand some of the concerns that have been brought up. Traffic, when the Fulton Academy of Science and Technology is releasing, can be a bit of an issue, so maybe that is something that would have to be looked at. But I am in the office every day. I get there about 9, I leave about 4:30, and rarely have much of a problem with traffic. I don't know that the mosque will be that much of an addition to the traffic. As far as the look of the community, I know that the parcel of land it doesn't feel like it's that much of Chafin Road. And when you look at Crabapple, it's a fire station, a church, a daycare at school, a church. I don't know that it's that residential a look coming down Crabapple. And Chafin, I know that the position is between Crabapple Road and Lebanon Baptist Church. So I don't know, I think that they will be faithful in what they do with the look of the area, but I don't know that it's going to impact the residential feel of Chafin Road that much. So as someone who is there every day, I support this. I support them knowing them, and as a community member, I look forward to them being part of our area. So.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, please come forward.
Mayor, council members, I am the Reverend Dave Dunn, the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, a place we call Human. And we are just north, we will be just north of the property in question. We are at 11420 Crabapple Road. So when I was called to be the minister of Human in 2016, I moved here from Pennsylvania. The first things I tried to do was go to every community event possible to see who's who, what's going on. The first thing I went to was an Interfaith North Fulton Community Charities meeting. It was actually held at RCM. They were there, obviously. The next thing I went to a Family Promise meeting, which advocates for homeless families. RCM was there. It was 2016. I met elected officials, people I'd met for the first time moving from Pennsylvania, at RCM. And then there was the debate at RCM in 2017. Long story short, every community event I went to, RCM was there. They are present more than perhaps any other faith community, including our own. They show up. So we are catching up. We have at least a dozen of our members here. You got some work to do. They want the best for this community. I mean, I think you probably all know that. You've mentioned it. They want the best for this community. They are all in. And we are looking forward to continuing to partner with them, as we have in many of our ministries together. So it's been a joy to work with them, and we look forward in the future to do that. Please consider to approve this zoning variance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Please come forward.
Mayor and council, I'm not real sure about following two preachers. I'm Barbara Duffy. I live in Hollyberry at 200 Hollyberry Drive, which is across the street from the site. And I used to work at North Fulton Community Charities and got very, very well acquainted with the congregation of RCM. They are good neighbors. I couldn't be more pleased that they are proposing to find larger space and continue what they do for Roswell and for their congregants. I certainly welcome them. I think they would truly fit well into the neighborhood, into the look of the neighborhood, and I encourage you to support the rezoning. They are good neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak? Yes, please come forward.
Mayor and City Council, I'm Dougriggs. I live at 350 Bentgrass Drive, just around the corner from the proposed site. And I'm here, I'm a chaplain. I'm a chaplain at St. Joseph's Hospital, and some of you know with the fire department here. In that role, in those roles, RCM has been a tremendous asset. Most people don't know that chaplains provide a ministry of presence to people of all faiths or none at all. And as a Christian, I've had to call on my friends at RCM many times to help me with patients who are Muslim, with residents who are Muslim, and doesn't matter what time of day or night, they're there. I've participated at RCM with the Women's Interfaith Network, which is a really wonderful group that alternates sites in the three Abrahamic traditions. And RCM was instrumental in beginning that organization. They, as you all know, they've hosted the debates. They've hosted other community things. I was part of the first community emergency response team training, and Bassam was my table mate for our first class. And he told me he was there because they really wanted to be integrated into the community and give back to Roswell. And I think that speaks to their intentions. I know them to be people who are open to listening to the community and wanting to fit in and become an asset. Thank you.
Mayor and Council, thank you for listening to us this evening. My name is Beth King, and I've been a resident of Roswell for 34 years now. And as you might imagine, I've seen a great deal of evolution and change in that time. And I can tell you, living in a neighborhood also, that change and evolution is not always easy. I am here tonight in support of this change in rezoning. I've had the honor of being associated with the Masjid for quite a while through the Women's Interfaith Network and the relationships I have developed with them. They are people of honesty, of faith, of engagement, as you have already heard over and over again. They have opened their arms over and over, and I will repeat what you've heard often, and you hear it often because it has happened often. These are people that you want as your neighbors. They are the best kind of neighbors. These are people that are thoughtful, considerate, engaged in their community. Because of what you have heard of all they have done in their community, is because that is one of their staples of their faith. Living into their faith is doing exactly that. Listening to their community, engaging in the community, making that community a better place to live, not just for them, for everyone. And I think the fabric of Roswell that I have seen in these 34 years that I have been here, as I have raised my children, I'm now raising my grandchildren here, I have seen what can be good for a community and what cannot. What they are doing is good for our community, good for all of us, to make the life in Roswell richer, to make it a value-based community for all to live in. They want what we all want in this community. We want a safe place for our children to raise our children. We want friends. We want a community of values and opportunities, and that's what they will add to our community as well. These are lovely, lovely people who any of us, I believe, could value as a neighbor, as a community of faith. And I will tell you, as a good Southern person, I would love to have them as my neighbor and would show up on the day they moved in with a bowl of potato salad and sweet iced tea, because that's what we do. Because I would welcome them into my realm of relationships. And I hope that you will find that they will add to the richness of this community. They would add value to each of our lives and add value to what we call home here. This affects us all in that in doing this, when there are people, prospective residents of Roswell, looking at the city, and they see how well something like this is done, that this will encourage them to be a part of this community as well. So I do hope very much that you will find that this is a good decision to make to approve this rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please come forward.
Hello, councilmen and women and mayor. I am the current board chair at the Roswell Community Masjid. I'm also a resident at Arbor Creek, which is several streets down. Recently realized, though, my daughter can walk to the property when she went out one afternoon.
Could you please give us your name?
Oh, sorry, Sabina Boss.
Thank you.
And I live in Arbor Creek. And basically, we have done a lot in our lifetime where we wanted, me and my husband, to live in a community that was similar to where we were growing up in northern Alabama. And when we moved to Roswell about 10 years ago, it definitely delivered, and delivered beyond our imagination. Even the mosque that was here and the interfaith representation, it was very similar to the community I had in Alabama. And it's just so amazing, and everything that's been happening in the city is so amazing. So I do want to just state that. And this, we think, can continue to build those bonds and continue to grow this community in such a way that, you know, my daughter, now who's 14, was 4 when we first moved here, can really she has an opportunity to do something different in life and have some of these bonds that just will take her so far. So we're very appreciative, and we really hope that you can support this rezoning. And I also want to thank you for any support that was given tonight as well, and we will definitely work with any neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please come forward.
I know most of you, but my name is Kelly Callan, and this is my daughter Presley Callan, who's 11 years old, and we live at 350 Wind Park Court, which is within a few miles of where we're talking about, but we've been members at the church that Reverend Dave mentioned tonight, the Unitarian Universalists of Metro Atlanta North. And the reason why Presley was so anxious to come with me tonight to sit through a meeting like this is, in addition to being part of a congregation like that, we also have an Earth ministry at our church. And as part of that Earth ministry, we have adopted that road. So Presley, in her short years, has spent a lot of time picking up garbage along that road. And I just mentioned to our friends and neighbors that are in here, you may notice that that corner in particular, and I'm so glad, I think it was Judy that whose family owned that corner. It is beautiful, and Presley and her brother, we have spent time on that corner grabbing all kinds of stuff so that we can make sure that all the critters and things that live on that corner aren't stumbling over bottles and such that are in there. But we want to point out that while if I was a neighbor in that area, I too would be here questioning, but that particular corner, and Judy, I'm sure over the years, you guys have also, there is lots of room for improvement. Presley can tell you if we went up there tonight, after having been there not too long ago, that there, for whatever reason, there's a great love for throwing litter on that corner. So with neighbors and the plans for the landscaping that they have go in there, in our opinion, after spending a lot of time cleaning up that section of the corner, we've got nowhere to go but up. So just wanted to share that and throw that out for the neighbors, that with the help of them coming in, whatever landscape plans that they have will be helped, and I'm sure they will be helping us clean up litter on that corner. So thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Norris, and I've been a homeowner in Roswell for 17 years. I live off Cranberry Creek in Roswell, and I attend one of the churches along this road. When I drive this road, I think about it as church road when I'm going to church, and I think the mosque would fit in so perfectly on this street. I think every time I turn around when I'm doing some nonprofit or charitable work with our church, the Masjid is there. They're a part of our community in a way that I can't think of any other congregation or community being. They do such a good job of living their principles. It's something that I think all of us can hope to do better, because I see how they tangibly improve our community. They really, literally, by their presence, do good and make our community better. So I very much support this rezoning. And one of my fond memories of the debate, the city council debate that was there a few years ago, was I was there with my little one who had just recently learned how to walk. And she was so fussy. She did not want to be there. She was done. But somebody from the Masjid came over to me, seeing that I was struggling with this baby on my lap who just wanted to be out and about. He came up to me and he asked me if I needed anything. I, demurred, and I was like, no, it's fine. And he came up and he said, look, we have a room that is specifically for kids to run around. Come with me, it's just around the corner, and you'll be closer to the stage. You'll be able to hear everything and see everything. She can run around, she can scream, she can do whatever she wants, and you can hear the debate and participate and be here. And throughout that night, he came out and checked on us and offered us water and offered us snacks, and was just the best host I could ever have imagined, and a better host than anywhere else I had been with that squirmy baby. So I really, really, I can't imagine all the good that they'll do when they have this bigger space, because one of the things that I think has slowed them down, although nothing seems to, is the fact that their current space is just little, and they need a bigger space. They need more space to do even more good. So I look forward to them continuing to live their principles in even bigger ways and improving our community in tangible, real ways that we'll see as they grow into this new space. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak? Yes, please come forward.
Hello, good evening. My name is Mohammed. I live in Roswell. I've lived in Roswell since 2013. I'd like to first thank, I'm really humbled, honestly, to see there's more non-Muslims here, people of the Christian faith and the Jewish faith, speaking up in regards to the rezoning. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'd like to say that my dad came to America in 1965. I was born in Maryland. I grew up in California. I went to college in Florida, undergrad, and I went to grad school in Virginia, and then I moved to Georgia. Over my life, I'd say I've probably been to over 100 mosques, prayed at 100 mosques throughout my life, and without a doubt, RCM is the best of the best. The leadership, just looking up in front of me right now, I see 9 people, I believe. RCM, their board is also 9 people. They have more females on their board than females I see in front of me right now. So that's just a small observation I'd like to say. They're very diverse in their leadership. It's very welcoming, and if they weren't so welcoming, we wouldn't probably see so many voices here, non-Muslims speaking up in favor of this. I work 50 miles from where I live in Roswell, and I have 4 daughters, and I could have easily chosen to live somewhere else, less commute on myself, 50 miles, but RCM is so valuable, I decided to buy a home not too far from RCM, and this new proposed facility, I'd be maybe 3 miles or so from there. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and we appreciate everyone that's here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak? Councilmember Hall.
So moved on both items.
Thank you. All those in favor, please raise your hands. And it passes unanimously. Thank you. We are going to go ahead.